they will resort to kidnapping, and before you know, these figures will begin to rise up. Insecurity across the country, people going to their farms and not returning, all of those things are contributing to why you have this very high figure. And at the same time, if you check this very report that they have done, this is not just something that happened on the land. Some of it happened on the waterways. And the chief of Naval Staff came forward to tell us that piracy has stopped in Nigeria for the past 5 years. And you don't understand how they arrive at some of these figures. This very high number of Nigerians being taken hostage with trillions of naira raked in by the kidnappers tells you the level of corruption that we have within the system. And Mr. President will go to the international platform and tell Nigeria there is no corruption. The increase in this kidnapping, hostage taking, and all of these things going on is as a result of corruption. It is corruption that is allegedly found in even the security circle that made it difficult for them not to be able to even perform their duties the way they are supposed to perform it. Let this report now be investigated. And I will tell you that a lot of people would have been found to have compromised in the process of even trying to address some of these issues. So it is unfortunate, and I think the government must do everything they can to live up to their responsibility by ensuring that lives and properties are protected across Nigeria.
Okay, actually.
All right, let's move on straight now to the Punch, because there's a major headline there. This one concerns the ASU debacle right now and its strike threats. Now, ASU VCs decry Prof's 525,000 naira monthly pay. Now, according to findings by the Punch, we're seeing that assistant lecturers get between 150,000 naira and 171,000 naira, 480. Of course, and lecturer two, it's figures that are quite low. Graduate assistants earn between 125,000 naira and 138,020 naira monthly, while professors earn, like Punch stated there boldly, between 525,010 naira and 633,333 naira. What do you think about the monthly pay of professors in Nigerian universities, judging by the current cry by ASU for better working conditions and statements of agreements reached with the federal government in 2009?
Yeah, Natalie, I stand with ASU. And I must say that this very amount they are paying to professors and other academics across the country is very, very poor, and it is shameful. It is unfortunate that we are in a country where those who are educated are not valued. It is shameful that we are in a country where those who are law-abiding, going about their businesses like these professors, are not being properly paid. We heard from Akwa Ibom State just last week how the governor said his essays, the list of them is earning at least ₦1 million at the end of the month. And these are professors who have read books, who have studied from first degree to their terminal degree, which is the PhD, and then research extremely, and then they are awarded professors, and you are giving them 525,000 naira as basic salary at the end of the year, at the end of the month. Now, how much are they going to use to take care of themselves? How much are they going to use to fuel their houses? How much are they going to use to pay their accommodation and take care of their children? It becomes challenging. And this is the reason why a lot of them go into corrupt practices. A lot of them go into sorting, collecting money from students to let them pass. So I think the government must properly fund the educational system, properly pay the lecturers and the professors, and ensure that their living condition is improved so that they can train these children properly. You will see a situation whereby a professor will be in the school studying. A student that just arrived in year one maybe get involved in all of these, internet fraudulent activities, which is what they call Yahoo. A lot of these boys are doing now. And they are living well, driving better cars and living better condition. And when they don't come to class, before you know, they can corrupt the lecturer to collect money and then pass them. So I think the government must properly pay our university dons to encourage people from, people to put in their best. You can see what has also happened in Unilag, whereby the former vice chancellor is talking about 300 and 230 something,
239.
first class graduates that were, 239 of these graduates that were, employed as a result of their first class status, leaving the system because of poor payment. All of these are not helping our educational system, and it is because they don't have their own children in our educational system. That is why they can't pay good lecturers and to teach them. So I think they need to do more in this area by ensuring that they triple their salary. A professor should not have a basic salary of anything less than 2 million naira at the end of the month so that they can take care of themselves. How much is 2 million naira? It's just like 8,000 pounds. So 1,000 British pounds, is it too much to pay a professor in our university? It's not something that is too much for them to do. And it's not something that is a kind of rocket science. Considering the inflation we have, the valuation of the Naira, and where the economy currently stands with two-digit inflation.
All right, let's move to Amebo Newspapers. Amebo Newspapers seems to have a lot of interesting headlines for us this morning. We'll look at the biggest story there. Building a better Nigeria, we must bring Nigeria to the forefront. Tinubu tells Nigerians in Brazil. Now, this is coming on the heels of President Tinubu's earlier statement that says that Nigeria has more money and no more corruption. And we've seen him get lambasted in various quarters. Even for forefront human rights activist Showore was pictured saying some unprintable words about the statement that he made in Brazil. But, he is trying to foster improved bilateral ties between Nigeria and Brazil. Hence, he's not going to go there and say otherwise, some pundits would say. But what's your reaction to the president's remarks while away in Brazil?
I think that statement was a slip of tongue. I don't think the president intended to say that there is no more corruption in Nigeria. Nigeria now has more money. It's not reflecting in the lives of the people. I think we had similar comment made by a Nigerian head of state around 1983 or thereabout. It was Gowon also. That they say that, Nigeria has so much money that our problem is how to spend the money. Is that the situation we have found ourselves today during the oil boom then? Is that the situation we have found ourselves today? The money we have as a country should reflect in the lives of the people. The president making that statement alone is corruption in itself, because we know that Nigeria has corruption in the country, because we know that there is corruption. In fact, there are even things. So Mr. President should try as much as possible to retract that statement. And I think that statement of the fact that we don't have corruption again, it's not helpful at all, because even the people who is selling these things are laughing at him. And I don't think that is true. Then talking about putting Nigeria at the forefront. Before we can put Nigeria at the forefront, like some of us are trying to do, we must be able to have a system that we are proud of. And Nigerians are proud of the current system in the country, a system where the APC will come out and publicly endorse him as their presidential candidate and go behind and tell people that you can also obtain funds. It doesn't stop you from obtaining funds. That is corruption. Because in the last election, they took 100 million from each of the presidential aspirants. At the end, they emerged Tinubu as the flag bearer. On this very election that they have even endorsed him, they are still saying that the ticket is open for people to take. That is corruption, because they want to extort money from people and then give the ticket to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So I think all of these things that are happening, we are not proud of it. Insecurity in the southeast, insecurity in the northwest and northeast, insecurity in part of the country and even parts of the Niger Delta. It's not something that we are proud of as a country. The poverty level that have increased in this country since under his administration is not something that we are proud of. Late President Muhammadu Buhari told us that we will remember him someday. We were laughing at him because we never knew that an administration that would be worse than that of Muhammadu Buhari was coming forward. And that is what we are currently experiencing under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So a lot of Nigerians will not be proud of talking about Nigeria and putting Nigeria at the forefront if the situation at home has not improved. It's just unfortunate. Those statements on that platform were nothing to write home about, and I think it's just a kind of a shame of a country, and Mr. President should try to address that either by himself or through his aides.
All right, another interesting headline here says that the NRC MD is taking responsibility for the derailment of the Abuja-Kaduna train. I'm sure you saw those harrowing videos online and, of course, on the news as well. NRC MD is taking responsibility for that. What's your reaction to this incident, the Abuja-Kaduna train derailment, and the response of the NRC taking responsibility for that event?
Yeah, the train derailment is really a sad incident, and I sympathize with those who are affected. And I thank God that nobody died. Few injuries were sustained. I think taking responsibility, the man is just trying to show leadership. Otherwise, he doesn't need to take responsibility at this point in time, because investigation is still ongoing. It is when investigation would have been concluded and the cause of the derailment determined, then we now look at where to apportion blame, and he can now come out to say that he is taking responsibility. So he cannot take responsibility for something that we are yet to really know the cause of it. So he's just trying to show leadership, but I understand how that happened. But the investigation should continue, and it shouldn't be preempted, and then we should have the report out, and then we see and know what what caused that derailment and then try to put measures in place to ensuring that that doesn't happen in the nearest future, because that route was really helping a lot of Nigerians because it is low cost and was helping Nigerians to get across the country, using the train.
Do you see this system of rail transportation working in Nigeria, knowing that maintenance, management, sustainability culture is always in question? Do you see rail transportation encountering more disasters as we've seen this way? Because, this would be the 188th time, according to reports, in the last 6 years, according to reports that were seeing incidents of this nature. Are we ready for rail transport? The rail transport we're clamoring so much for, not just because of events like derailments, which of course that's an accident, but the level of insecurity in the country.
I think we are ready, and we can look at the investigation from all those previous reports and then use the investigative report that was released to look at what causes some of these things and improve on them. I also think that if we bring in experts, there are countries in the world where trains have been running for hundreds of years. I've been to New York, and in New York, there is some train in New York has been moving for over 100 years. It's been working. So they should go to places like that and get experts using the report that they have found, they have carried out to check and know the cause of the derailment and threat around the rail transportation, and then improve on that. It will help us to address this. Rail transportation is very important and it's very key. I know in Port Harcourt it is working, and a lot of people will tell me that they just go to, the rail station there, and then they take train to Aba, they buy things, they come back in the afternoon. So they are happy. It's something that we can explore. It was working in this country in the past, before we now came up to revamp our rail transportation, so we can still be able to improve it. Like Rivers Enugu should have a rail line that is working. Rivers Bayelsa should have a rail line that is working. Rivers Akwa Ibom should have. All the states in the country can interconnect with train. I think we can do it, and it will help our people to move from point A to point B, and it will help commerce and transportation of goods and services across the country. It is very, very good. That way our roads will also be safe. Because I know quite well that if you want to transport cattle from one part of the country to the other, just get a coach, load them inside, within few hours they are here. Other than loading them in trucks, and sometimes they break them on the way, lots of them die. Food items, the same thing that is done. And before you know, the transportation is properly eased. So it is something we can do. They should look at all the reports of previous derailments and threats against our transportation system in the rail, kind of rail industry. And then we are able to address this issue, and then we can come over it. It's something I think we can do. We need to improve on our services currently being rendered.
Okay, let's just take this one from Vanguard. 2027 presidency, zoning causes rumpus, PDP intensifies moves to woo Jonathan. Yes, finally,
the political guy, Oji.
PDP, they've actually zoned the presidency for 2027 or to the south. Well, there's an uproar in the north. Some northern leaders of faction is not, well with them. By the way, it doesn't sound well with them. It's not, they don't like the idea of PDP zoning to the south, right? What's your appreciation that eventually, after what could have been done in 2023? They are doing it in 2027, and this is actually the reason why the problems they are having, Wike, Atiku Abubakar, right? Just because of this zoning of the presidency to the south, right? And now, eventually, 2027, the presidency is zoned to the south. Reactions from the north, and the appreciation on who could actually be the flag bearer. There is Makinde, there is even Wike there. Peter Obi is somewhat from the grapevine, as they said, being pushed, right? And Jonathan could actually be that candidate. What's the appreciation?
Yeah, I think the northern politicians that are not in support of the zoning of the ticket to the south are not being sincere to themselves, because this is what Wike advised them to do in 2023, which they refused to do, leading to the crisis that they are currently having, that will even make the party not to even come forward properly in 2027. So I think that they shouldn't be against the zoning of the party to the south, a party ticket to the south in 2027. Because this is what they also are doing in 2023, and the act is just happening now in 2027. So I think this is coming late, and I don't think it will make any impact, because they failed to do it when they ought to have done it. So I don't think it's going to make any serious impact. In the South now, we have a Southern candidate because the APC zoned their ticket to the South. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took advantage of that, and he wanted to become the president. If they have done the same thing in 2023, and they were not just doing it because they wanted to, give opportunity to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, that is also claiming not to be desperate to become president, I think they may have been able to have a win in 2023. So what they are doing now is like medicine after death, and it's not going to take them anywhere. They are not going to have any viable candidate for 2027 because who are they going to have?
Dr. Fyneface,
we have,
won't this be dicey, having a two Southern candidates from the APC and from the PDP? And the way Atiku Abubakar is positioning himself, apparently if ADC should give him that presidential ticket, from your political calculations, wouldn't this be a problem for the Southern candidates? Sharing the votes down here,
yeah.
And the Northerners, they always align with their brothers.
Yeah, I know that's where you are going to, in terms of two presidential candidates coming on the APC and the PDP from the South, dividing their vote against the Northern vote. It's not going to be a problem because Northerners are aware that the moment we arrive in 2031 with a Southern candidate, the power is going to them for 8 years. So if they fail to support a Southern candidate to complete their 8-year tenure, then they have surcharged themselves for another 4 years in 2031 going forward. So I think the division will come, votes will be shared among the APC and the PDP, and then you are also going to have, relative block vote like you are calculating it to be, going to the North if the ADC puts their ticket in the North, as we are seeing that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is going to be the flag bearer of the ADC. But be that as it may, I'm telling you that the vote from the South will be divided, but it will give even an easy ride to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu returning to power in 2027 because he is already there, has all the structure and all the machineries to win the election compared to any candidate that the PDP is going to file. Former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan may not even show face in the election because the laws are even against him from what we have been made to know on a different program and what is available on the internet and in our laws. He may not come because the law says that if you completed someone else's tenure and you can only go for one tenure and not a second tenure again. It affected him. It's also going to affect the governor of Ondo State because he completed a Rules tenure and then he came into office now to do a first term. He can't go again for a second time because he can't take out of office 3 times. So all of that put together is going to make former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan not to be the best candidate for the PDP in 2027. But the best person they can go for and to give them some form of edge will be Peter Obi. If they can give that opportunity to Peter Obi, will be best. But then one of the enemies of Peter Obi that is in the party that will give him headache going in there is the FCT minister, who is there to frustrate his effort and making sure that he principal wins so that he can also remain in office till 2031. So these are the issues that are on the ground. But I think it's medicine after death, and I think the zoning to the South is just to escort President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to office.
All right, Dr. Fyneface, I mean, there's one major headline we have to look at, and that involves the Nigeria's kidnap crisis, as boldly stated across our dailies this morning. But first, we'll go on a quick news break, get your brief reaction, and then we'll progress. Stay with us.
They say we're just traders, but have you met the Igbo innovator?
So just wrapping up this segment, but really important story here concerning security in Nigeria. Dr. Fyneface is still with us from Rivers this morning. Nigeria's kidnap crisis, 2.57 billion naira ransom paid, 4,722 abducted in 1 year. A recent report reveals. Dr. Fyneface, what's your reaction to this shocking statistics?
Yeah, it is very unfortunate that we can have this very number of people being taken hostage in a country where we have all the security forces, conventional security forces that we have across the country. It is also worrisome that the security operatives are not being proactive to address this issue. And it is worrisome that our legal system is not doing enough to confiscate, convict those who have been found in some of these cases. So I think enough is not being done by the government to protect lives and properties of Nigerians. And that is why we need to return to our traditional security architecture in our various communities to see how we can address some of these issues, mitigate and become proactive in terms of being able to protect ourselves. Now, the other day, the chief of army staff or thereabout told defense staff also told Nigerians to go and learn, kung fu or karate or whatever to defend and protect themselves. How do you learn kung fu, body martial arts to, defend yourself against people that are well armed and with sophisticated weapons? So I think it's shameful that we have this number of people being taken hostage. This is just 1 year. What is going to happen in the following year? So I think government needs to do enough to provide security for lives and properties across the country.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Fyneface. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on the program.
All right. Have a good morning ahead. And wherever you go, just say good morning to everybody. Thank you once again, Dr. Fyneface, for joining the show. Great to have you, as always. All right, now we're going to head on to Abia at 34. Now, we know that not just Enugu was commemorating this milestone yesterday, Abia State as well did same. Now, right after this report presented by Afia TV's Deputy Chief Correspondent, Emmanuel Wazo in the state, we're crossing over to him to hear from him. What are people saying 34 years after Abia gained its own statehood? Take a look at this when we return. We're talking about Abia's governance development and the road ahead. Stay with us.
Abia State came into being alongside 9 other states following the proclamation of the then military president, now retired General Ibrahim Babangida, on the 27th of August, 1991. 34 years on, residents of different endeavors reflect on the journey so far, the trials, the setbacks, and the renewed sense of progress under the present administration.
Even if we answer God's own state, there was nothing to show us that we are part of this country. But I think today, I will say, wow, things has drastically changed. Let him continue, because we are seeing where our money is going into these days. You can see good roads, see good environments everywhere. That in Abia State today, you can be afraid of throwing out nylon on the road. And if you do that, you know you are going to be punished. Come to Abia in those days, by 7 p.m. everywhere is dark. But today, by 12 midnight, you can walk on the road without being molested. You see somebody opposite you, see somebody who's going in your front. These are some things we need.
Ever since Mbakwe left the government, we have not seen any. What we have been experiencing is government as usual, as before. But ever since Dr. Alex Oti came into government, we have seen a very big change in Umuahia. Look at how the road is. You can't see any gallop or any pothole in all our road. Everywhere is okay. And people in Abia, especially in Umuahia, we are jubilating because we have never experienced this kind of government. I was born and brought up in Umuahia, so I'm not a new person here in Umuahia. I was present during the time of Ikenwosu, Temi Ejo, Moses Pasanya, Ojos Okalo, Tie Oji, Okezi Pazo. This present government led by Dr. Alex Choma Oti and those people I mentioned, there is a very big gap.
Like many others, the optimism is shared widely. They say the last 2 years have given them visible changes.
There is transformation. We are moving from darkness to light. A lot of development and a lot of progress. Like you can see, there are good roads. Despite they had been mishandled in the past, presently now there are good roads. There's a bit stable light, for example, and the security aspect has improved too. Also, we see the gate here so has also improved. The rate of traffic, the congestion has been reduced to a certain stage. Then also, come down to me riding tricycle as a tricycle rider. It's not been easy though, but there is progress because the coordination and the packaging the new Abia itself has made the work a bit fair for us. We are running to the park. So I think Abia, if I should rate Abia from 1 to 10 or from 1 to 100, I would say about 75%. So there is progress.
We have no complaint over the roads. The roads are okay. But we would, if the government can try and improve on the parks, because the parks are they are not in a fit conditions. So if they can improve the parks, and then some of the touts along the roads that stops drivers and extorts money from them, if they can improve these ones, that's okay.
But amid the praises, some are urging the government to match development with accountability.
We read books. We also hear what is going on through the media, newspaper, radio. I can say certainly that since the creation of Abia State till now, I don't know about the past regimes, but I've heard about so many things they did. Compare them to this present regime. For me, this regime is the best. When you look at developmental issues like infrastructure and all the rest of them, even employment, salary payment, you will know that this government is committed. It doesn't mean they don't have flaws. Tie Oji tried to a certain extent. Okezi also tried. I respect him so much. But this present government, if you ask me, I will say it has done marvelously well than the others. But there are areas the governor must pay attention to. The oppositions are criticizing, but you must open your ears to what they are saying, because some of the things they are saying is true. But he needs to pay more attention to criticisms. The area of accountability. Whatever you are spending, whatever you have said you have spent about schools, you are renovating and all the rest of the projects, be plain, tell people, give them estimate, tell them this is what we have done, this is how much you have spent, so that people can look into it and be able to tell you if you are doing well or not.
The governor's special advisor on media and publicity, Ferdinand Ekoma, admits that it is not yet Uhuru, but that significant progress has been made.
We can't claim to have gotten everything right, but the truth is this. If you run an opinion poll today, I am sure that 90% of Abians will tell you that there is a new dawn, a real new dawn in Abia State. That you now have a government that has prioritized the welfare of workers. That you now have a government that is committed to creating job opportunities in the most transparent way. not a government that will recruit workers for the purpose of winning an election and turning around to sack them. Not a government that will create primitive dichotomy of core and non-core civil servants, but a government that is committed to creating the enabling environment and is visible. The same Aba that looked irredeemable is today smiling, and the residents are smiling. That one can now proudly step out there and say, I live in Aba. And one can now come out and proudly say, I come from Abia State.
Ekoma insists that the administration remains focused in repositioning Abia.
You now have a governor that is very intentional in investment in infrastructure, and a governor that is practicalizing his philosophy that investments go only to a place that a place that has been prepared for them. So, by all standards, we are now comfortable that Abia at 34 has taken off with speed and is headed the right direction. That Abia at 34 is positioned to competing with progressive states, with prosperous states in the Committee of States. So, with the tempo we've applied, we will no longer be dwelling on the failures of the past, on the challenges of the past. You know, like our people say, that whenever a man wakes from his sleep, is his morning. This is a morning. So this is our morning. But those who have since woken up from their sleep, we are now the same pedestal. We are now competing with them, and we are committed to surpassing them.
As Abia marks its 34th anniversary, the people's verdict seems clear. Progress is being made, but the journey to a fully reborn state has only just begun. In Umuahia, Emmanuel Wazwe reporting.
Fantastic one there, as always, Emmanuel. Now we cross over to Emmanuel in Umuahia, Abia State, our Deputy Chief Correspondent. Emmanuel, good morning. How'd you do? Emmanuel, are you with us?
Thanks for having me.
Yes, Emmanuel, good morning.
A very good morning to you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So you, of course, produced an excellent report there, put everything in perspective, and it focused a lot on governance. Now, you've been on the field, you've seen what people are saying, you've felt the pulse of the people. In one word, how would you describe the reactions to Abia's developmental trajectory 34 years on? That's close to 3 decades.
It is difficult to describe that in one word. Maybe phrasal, in a phrasal form would be better. Some have described it as a new dawn in Abia, looking back at what has happened in the past. There are some unprecedented things happening in Abia when you want to compare them to what happened about 34 years ago. Right from the military era, Abia created on the 27th of August 1991. And then with the first military administrator, Air Vice Marshal Frank Kajabina, taking the affairs of administration, in Abia, having been carved out of the old Imo state. Now, when you look at that, then in 1992, the election was held, and under the NRC, we had Dr. Obenayon of the blessed memory. He was the first elected executive governor of Abia State. But that didn't last. Just a few months after he took office, the military struck again, returning us to military dictatorship, headed by General Sani Abacha. And since then, we have had 5 military administrators rule Abia State. And if you talk about also, if you add the administration of Dr. Alex Oti, you will also be having equally 5 civilian governors leading Abia State. For them, the template of administration can only be measured by what people are seeing or feeling, or what they felt during those days. Some say, like one of my respondents rather, said that Abia, even though it bore or still bears that moniker, God's own state, that things were really, apart with that particular, would I call it nickname at the moment, that they started experiencing what governance is all about from 2023 when the immediate administration, when the present administration took over. Well, it is dependent on who you ask too. If you ask the opposition in other states, they will say that their own time was better than what is being experienced now. But when you look at the indices, infrastructure, education, healthcare, security, transportation, if you look at these things, you'll be able to see that there is actually a form of quantum leap, from what used to be and what it is now.
Okay, the OG, the Bazu, before Alex Oti, let's bring it down to security. How would you weigh security in Abia State from the past dispensations and the now dispensation of Choma Oti?
Well, it is dependent on what happened at different times. Remember, there was a time during the administration of Governor Theodoji, we had the reign of OCC Council. That was a security threat, that, rendered Aba, the bubbling Aba that Aba was completely rendered a dead zone. You remember a situation where people had to leave Aba to go to a Akwa State to cash a check or do financial transactions because of the wave of terror, kidnapping that happened. In fact, it had to take the hijack of a school bus filled with children by this same Osisikampu and his team for the military. In fact, the federal government had to send in the military to come into Abia State to, end that whole thing. Otherwise, that security at that time was nothing to write home about, because the whole of Abia, particularly the Aba area, was a no-go area. That was during the Theodoji. Then the Ibaza administration, it relatively, saw some kind of guerrilla warfare, where the issue of the unknown government, they strike here, strike the other place, and move. You do not know where they will strike next. And, that government actually tried its best to manage the security situation at that time. But people were actually, moving with their eyes over their shoulders, because you do not know when the so-called unknown government would arrive, or where they will be arriving from, or who they will be shooting. And the targets then was, there were these security operatives, and the aim was what? Get them down, get their weapons, take their weapons away, and, from time to time you hear people, and this issue of sit at home on Mondays, even though it has not, yet fizzled out. But in Abia of today, you can move around. People move around. The issue of security or insecurity is not that paramount as you be able to, as you can talk about sister states like Imo or Anambra, where some communities are completely sacked. We do not have a sacked community, any sacked community.
All right. All right. Now, away from security, let's take a holistic dive into Abia State's development. In the past 3 decades, what would you say is the greatest legacy of Abia State? In the last 3 decades, what would you say is the milestone legacy of the state?
Well, it is difficult to point at one thing and say, yeah, this is the greatest legacy in the last 3 decades. But what happened is that, situations are unique. Administrations have their own unique ways of, coming up. Abia, like Nigeria, is developing from stage to stage. What used to be 30 years ago are no longer there. At least the area of infrastructure, we can now see that, those things that were alien, some of those things that were alien to Abians, like, good road network and all that. In fact, that's one of the cardinal points where this particular administration has, scored itself high among other areas. But having seen that people have access to certain amenities, I think that's one thing people can say, wow, in the last 30 years, Abia has come of age and we have achieved one thing or another. As I said earlier, it is hardly a thing you'll be able to point at. But then, we look at the indices or like the past administration has this 5-point agenda, which looked at agriculture and all that. But in this particular administration, we have not seen, they do not have one particular, that kind of agenda you look at. I think
all right. So let's move away from the government now. A very important question I have to ask you is it possible to picture Abia State without the government? Is it possible to picture Abia State through the lens of the people, perhaps assessing how the people have evolved close to 3 decades on? How can we take this development down to the level of the people? How have they changed? How have the people grown in the past 34 years?
Well, the Igbo man in general, whether you find him in Abia, Anambra, Enugu, Ebonyi, or Imo State, is industrial and self-reliant. I can tell you that even while some states, in fact, this particular Abia state witnessed some form of maladministration, the people thrive. They never, we are not a people that sit down and wait until government, does things, for us. The people are independent-minded, self-reliant, and that is why when you go to an area like Abia North, where they have the age-grade system, they have community development, to themselves, and that's why each particular age grade will always have a thing, they will do for the community. For community development. For instance, in a place like Iwere, you have every end of the year, they have their professionals, particularly medical doctors, wherever you are in the world. If your age grade is there, is responsible for the year's annual return, they will all come back, provide healthcare services at the community PSCs, that's primary health care centers, that's doctors and nurses providing community service. Wherever they are in the world, they will come back. That is one thing to tell you that they do not actually rely on government to do certain things, for them. And that is the spirit of every Igbo man. Before government comes to say, okay, we are doing this, you look at how we name our schools. The secondary school in my village is called Omona Comprehensive Secondary School. It was a communal effort built by our fathers. Our fathers provided land, employed teachers, built this school, and then transferred to the government. As I talk to you today, since those who built this school removed their hands from there, some of these schools built by the community and transferred to the government are in serious forms of dilapidation. Okay? I will tell you about the Ositem Secondary School, Omona Comprehensive Secondary School, many other places that this present administration has now decided to look into. And of course, you may have heard about the controversial 54 billion naira map out for renovation and retrofitting of about 51 schools in different areas. The truth is that these schools are in very serious disrepair. Okay, so, and this is a place that supposedly, has a government running. So if our fathers, our parents of Pure were able to provide their lands, gather their wives who, gathered sand, skilled men and all that, they come together, built a school and transferred to the government, and then salaries were owed teachers who also came out to bring forth education, teach, so that people will learn for community development. Then you'll be able to see a people that are very much self-reliant. It is unlike what you see in the north, where you have government-day secondary school this, government secondary school that, army-day secondary school this. It is not like that here. Here, schools are named after communities because invariably those communities built these schools, employed teachers, and where they no longer could afford this, they transferred to the government for help. Now, just tell me, even at the local government level, tell me what local government authorities are doing. Roads that are supposed to be built by local government authorities have been taken over by states now, in some areas anyway. So these are the things that will point to you that even when you go through human capital development, the people are resourceful. They were self-sustaining. In fact, you see people, those who have that particular ability to go to school, you see a young man come out and say, okay, I trained myself in school. You also see somebody who says, okay, I dropped out of school to learn skills, artisans and all that.
Okay, Emmanuel.
Give it to the Igbo man, yes.
So let's talk about accountability level from the past to the present, right? The Oji Okalo, Tioji, Mikbazu, and now Alex Oti. One of your respondents made a salient comment. He stated that this dispensation administration should also listen to the position, some of their critics, right? That they are not being accountable to the citizens of Ndiabia. Why? Because they're not making it public.
Citizens of Abia State.
Yeah. So they're not making it public. Some of these funds, some of this infrastructure, how it's being funded, how much is being put into it. Is this alien to Ndiabia? And what would you say about that comment from your respondent?
I will tell you categorically that I agree with him. personally, as a journalist, a practicing journalist, I have in fact the last media chat we had with the governor, I specifically asked the governor, the question about procurement. And he answered that they have always followed due process. But the people do not seem to say this, including myself, because when a government does its bidding, be it procurement, be it employment, or even the issuance of contracts, the Procurement Act, makes it mandatory as a law that, one, it will start from the process of bidding. There must be an advertised bidding for people of interest to come around and say, okay, yes, I have interest in this. I can provide expertise in this or this. Okay. Then those people of like mind come together in openly, well advertised. Then whoever that is the highest bidder or who the government considers, to be very much reliable in that, he takes away that particular contract. Right. Contract is awarded. And when the contract is awarded, it should be announced openly. What is, if you're talking about road construction, what is the length of the road, length and breadth of the particular road? How much does it cost to do it? What are the specifications and that? This is what, even though we accuse the federal government of, of corruption and all that, but you see, after a federal executive council meeting, you see the Minister of Information coming out to brief the press, saying, okay, this so and so contract have been awarded to so and so at this cost. We do not see that in Abia State.
All right.
It does not happen. And that is why I agree with that particular respondent who called for, openness when it comes to fiscal dealings in the state.
It's very important that happens. So, Emmanuel, we're out of time, and I would like you to answer this last question before we let you go. What would you like to see in Abia State before Abia turns 35? What would you like to see, very briefly, in Abia?
I would like to see a seamless transportation system. I would like to see Abia that will be, remarkable for its educational system. I would like to see an Abia where accountability reigns supreme. Give it to this administration. It has taken governance to a higher, pedestal that any other person who wants to be this will no longer rely, on the histories of the past, the past histories of the state.
Right.
But on what has happened, from 2023 till then.
All right. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for joining the show this morning and giving us this perspective and foresight. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
All right, we're going on a quick break now. When the morning show returns, we're bringing you insights on why Nka Lounge was rescheduled to a later date. And let's not forget, correspondents are currently on ground at the INEC Enugu North office to bring us insights on voter participation. How many Enugu residents are showing up, are turning out for the continuous voter registration exercise that kicked off on the 25th of this month and would be on till December, according to the site. The morning show returns in just seconds. Stay tuned.
With United Nigeria Airlines, every destination tells a story of unity and strength in the skies. Enjoy a curated selection of meals and beverages, seamless entertainment options, and personalized service designed to make every journey memorable. Planning your next trip has never been easier. With our user-friendly mobile app, you can book flights, manage your itinerary, and even check in right at your fingertip. Rely on our commitment to on-time departures, safety, and reliability, ensuring you arrive at your destination hassle-free. Unite how you unite. Fly United Nigeria Airlines.
The Nigerian Bar Association is coming to Enugu, the host state, and bringing with it over 11,000 legal practitioners. Don't miss this golden opportunity for your business or your service to be seen, to be heard. Increase your brand's visibility and audibility on Afia TV and Afia Radio.
Enjoy 20% discount on all adverts during the conference period from August 22nd to August 31st. Book your slots now.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Afia Morning Show. Yes, a lot of, content still coming your way. We're still expecting that report from the INEC Enugu North office. But what is home to us is Nka Lounge. Now, Afia TV sadly announces that Nka Lounge August edition has been rescheduled to a later date due to some circumstances. Now, a lot of us are still confused as to why, seeing as this was widely promoted and anticipated. But we have the producer here to tell us exactly what happened and what we must do to keep Nka Lounge right here on our screens. Joining us now is producer Nka Lounge, Tobena Okuma. Tobena, great to have you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming. Why do you always cross your legs when your name is announced on set? It's like
it's basically.
That's the response. Once we say your name, it's like the pride. Just crossing with pride. T-Wild movement.
Demigod in me.
Nka Lounge is a tradition.
The demigod in me.
Fire.
Exactly.
So Nka Lounge, the August edition, for us to give you that premium quality, we have to just push. Because if we are giving the show tomorrow, you will hate us, basically.
Mm-hmm. Why would we hate you?
Why? Because we didn't have enough rehearsals, enough, like I said, it's a live music show. So without rehearsals being done, without some elements being done, we can't have the show going live because you won't like what you will see or what you will hear, basically. So we're just pushing the acts for next month, September. So that you can have enough rehearsals with the band, because we had a new band on board this time around to play with her and everything. So without that proper rehearsals, because they confirmed 10 days to the show, and they said no, for them to have that proper premium quality show, give us a month or 2 weeks of rehearsals.
Yeah, Nka Lounge takes a whole month to prepare for. I mean, our fans of Nka Lounge will be wondering why we had to discover just days that there was no rehearsal done. I mean, rehearsal should have started earlier. Why did we promote it so much without the
also following the whole NBA Wahala, there was we couldn't confirm rehearsal studios on time. We couldn't confirm the artists' hotels on time because Enugu is booked up with lawyers swimming around Enugu. So that's why we said, let's just give her next month so that after the whole NBA Wahala and madness, we can have Nka Lounge.
So are the lawyers to blame?
In a way, yes. In a way, yes. And also lack of preparations for this particular month.
So let's connect the dots. How did the lawyers facilitate the lack of preparation?
They booked up almost all the whole space. Like I couldn't get bookings for my acts for the month early enough. So it was a last minute booking, last minute cancellation, last minute arrangement of everything. So just have to just push to next month for a quality show.
So because Enugu was fully booked?
Fully super booked.
So it was fully booked and there was no way to
and
get...
for the Enugu month, we tried up them different, because Nkalaunge is more like a Grammy sec. So like the heads came up with having Ogene month for Enugu month, but this is some situationship. We said, okay, let's push it back to having a soulful singer, which was Jides, serenade us for this month, but without that proper rehearsal, just have to push.
So what happens now? What's the substitutes? What are we going to be giving to our viewers come tomorrow?
Okay, for tomorrow, we had like a whole back and forth saying that we don't want to disappoint the whole. We'll bring back the Brachimeze episode.
Okay.
That's like one of our bestseller episodes for Nkalaunge. So bring back the Brachimeze episode for tomorrow for us to enjoy 1 hour of live highlight music from Brachimeze.
Okay, is Nkalaunge open up for, people who invest?
Yes, like I said, it's a live music show, and there are a lot of things to consider, like equipment, feeding, transportation, logistics. It costs a whole lot. For us to have a successful episode of Nkalaunge, we're looking at about millions, basically. So we're calling for sponsorship. If you are inclined to music, if you have like a studio, if you have equipment, if you have something inclined into music. Also, we also have studio guests, setup, props, like that. Different things that are involved into getting the show ready. So like call for sponsorship is also open.
Has the date in September been decided yet?
It's always the last Friday of the month.
Last Friday of the month. Okay, so now, you've already clarified. So this Friday, we're going to be having a rebroadcast of Bright Chimeze. You can never get enough of Bright Chimeze.
We can't actually.
And Professor Onyegu. I think those are the two highlights. Great performances.
That's why he said Professor Onyegu, because there's a in it.
And it was fun, actually. That's what she said. Like, she felt the energy that day.
Yeah, right.
Right.
You see, this place you just climbed, you must get to the top.
Why do you say...
I don't understand.
Because I want to still go here.
Leave Natalie.
But yeah, it was the last Friday of the month, but we're calling for sponsorship this time around to also assist in making the show premium.
All right, so now we wish you best of luck. When the star is not ready, the producer ends up bearing the brunt. The same way the producer takes the glory if it goes very well. So you can see you're all stressed out because of everything that's happening.
We'll make the next month episode epic and slam.
Of course.
Even the month after is going to be a bombshell.
No, from September moving forward, like it's going to be a premium. It's going to be a premium back-to-back slam edition.
Chills.
It's also part of my sec members for Nkalaunge. So yeah.
Who?
Okay, everybody's good. Our next are going to turn. Maybe we'll unscrew them very soon, okay? All right, Tobena, thank you so much for bringing this to the forefront. We're definitely going to be here to continue to spotlight when everything is set.
Thank you very much. You guys also my platform for also promoting Nkalaunge, so I appreciate it, basically. Thank you very much.
We'll continue to do that.
Pleasures.
Yeah. All right, so this is also a call for sponsorship, call for sponsors. If you are interested in high life, you like soulful music, you like to relax, wine and dine with some nice soft music, serenading you into the next day or even while you have your dinner, then I think you should consider sponsoring Nkalaunge. This is saying a big thank you to Nkalaunge's sponsor right now, and that's Amstel Malta, for continuing to refresh us every episode of Nkalaunge. But yes, if you are interested in being a part of this Afia TV's Nkalaunge story, then do well to reach out and sponsor at least a part of the program and keep it running every last Friday of the month.
Also a big shout out to Open Sheraton for also keeping us
energetic,
refreshed and
all that.
Open Sheraton. We appreciate it, basically. Open Sheraton.
Open Sheraton and Amstel Malta. Just saying big thank you to sponsors. And then if you want to be a part of this, do well to reach out to Afia TV and get your brand right there stamped on Nkalaunge. The morning show returns in just seconds to bring you insights from the INEC Enugu North office. Are voters turning out to register, or are they staying home? Are they still optimistic about INEC's ability to deliver come 2027? Do stay tuned.
They say we're just traders. But have you met the Igbo innovator challenging the tech space here in Africa? or the woman leading the construction space, or the young man who has decided to turn this region into a tourist haven. This is about the dreamers, the doers, those who are changing the norms in the entrepreneurial space. This is Onyafia. Aiba Makandibo, because that's the reason why we're here. That's the elephant in the room. What are the measures that business owners can take? You know, how can they go about this? I'm Odera Collins, and I will be your host for this season. Join me on this journey as I bring you face to face with people building legacy businesses right here in the Orient. Don't exhaust what you want to tell me. This is a masterclass for tomorrow's entrepreneurs. Every story is a real life lesson. Every episode is a guide from people who have done it and are still doing it. We're not just doing business, we're changing the game, and we're showing you how to play it smart. Join us every weekday by 11:30 a.m. on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254, GoTV channel 17, and Free TV channel 748.
This is
This side, Okadoro, and the media adoro.
Manebara, this some manavan. And I give this seafood geek, this sea maka. And no, if you keep again, bossy, not this week.
This is Ogwe. That is what we do right here.
Every week we spotlight different Ogwe. And also celebrate people from the street. These are my guys. These are my people. What I go? Ogwe. Like men who wear men. One day, this is what we do right here. Don't forget that we are live on every Thursday by 1 p.m. You want to go? Tune to channel 254 on DSTV and channel 17 on GoTV. It's an Afia affair. You want to go? It's an Ogwe affair. One day.
Across the world, women are not just participating, they are transforming industry. Behind every success story, there is a vision, and behind every breakthrough, there is a woman who refuses to give up, turning challenges into opportunities and proving that there is no limit as to what they can achieve. My name is Marvelous Akwamada. Join us every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. right here on Afia Television to explore stories of these powerful women in the business world across the country.
Here at Afia TV News, we are intentional about the things we put together for your consumption. If it answers the basic news questions of where, when, how, and who, then we got you. Whether it is breaking news or stories around you, here we are intentional about news reportage, tailor-made just for you. Afia TV News. News today, news tonight, news all the time.
Start your day with your daily mix of business, lifestyle, and culture originating from the southeastern part of Nigeria.
Should we be exempting small businesses from taxes?
How do you feel about guys who do attachment?
Welcome back. You're still watching the Afia Morning Show live from Enugu. Now we're still awaiting reports from our correspondent, but we do have informed insights from them as they make their way back to the studio. So Enugu, as we would recall, during the online registration contributed 484 total pre-registrations. Now, the in-person registration commenced on August 25th, and right now we can say that from the INEC office in Enugu North, only 10 voters reportedly showed up yesterday, according to INEC officials stationed there. And as at this morning, we're only able to look at 4 voters on ground. It appears that turnout for the in-person registration is also abysmally low, as seen during the online pre-registration exercise. I mean, many factors could be contributing to this. Looking at Anambra, where you have over 60,000 registrations online, Enugu is quite strikingly low. Anambra can be linked to the forthcoming election, of course, if that's active election season for them, so that could account for the difference. But in Enugu, we're still seeing low turnout of voters for the physical or in-person registration at the INEC office in Enugu North. Oji, what do you think is contributing to this fallout in Enugu?
We're still going to ascertain all that, right? Because I just hope that not trying to disenfranchise people from, being part of this exercise. Because come 2027 is very salient for the Nigerians to make a very huge statement and decision, right? Because we're not getting it fair. This is not what we planned out. We're all disappointed in 2023. And I just hope that also this wouldn't trigger vote apathy, right? So,
but the issue on ground is that people are turning out very shallowly. There's a low turnout.
The problem now is that the concept of the last election is the reason, is a trigger, right? Because the new voters right now, their parents, their brothers, their sisters, they saw what happened, right? And they keep complaining, all that back and forth. So apparently you would want to say, oh, why would I come and register? Because at the end of the day, my votes wouldn't count. But it's a call for all of them to go out and, register for their vote, because your votes count definitely. If it doesn't count, these politicians wouldn't be doing what they are doing by calling up for that.
Yeah, make it difficult for the elections to be rigged by going ahead to get your permanent voter's card this year, especially if you just clocked 18. Go and get your PVC.
It's very important.
Get ready to vote. Come and join the Nigerian struggle with us.
That's your power. That's your power of influence, right? If you don't use it rightfully, then they rig the elections.
All right, tomorrow on the Afia Morning Show, we'll bring you insights on the look and feel of the INEC office. And of course, we'll also tour in other local government areas, not just in Enugu State, but across the Southeast region, and bringing you insights on the voter registration exercise. We'll take that report on the Morning Show tomorrow. Until then, I remain your host, Nathalie Uku.
And I remain Oji Nwachuku. Have a splendid Thursday. Bye for now.
Start your day with your daily mix of business, lifestyle, and culture originating from the southeastern part of Nigeria.
Should we be exempting small businesses from taxes?
How do you feel about guys who do attachment or braid their hair or wear earrings?
It's a generational problem. A lot of young people feel, I think I know it, if I could Google it, I don't need to be mentored.
Originating from the southeastern part of Nigeria. If you're interested in views, opinions, arguments, discussions about national issues, then the AM show is the place to be. If you also would love to know what happens around the eastern part of Nigeria, then you do not want to miss this show Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. exclusively on Afia TV.
Here on the Eastern Eye, our sights are set on the political, social, and economic developments around us, from Enugu to Umuahia, from Port Harcourt to Owerri, from Aba to Abakaliki, from Oka to Asaba, and down to Uyo. We'll bring you the views, previews, and analyses of people who make the news in and around the region. The Eastern Eye provides an opportunity for those in the Southeast to have their voice, to find their voice, share their voice. The Eastern Eye, the Southeast window to the rest of the world.
Welcome to the covers political matters in Enugu State, Nigeria. If you're interested in conversations about governance or politics, Enugu Kwenu is the place to be every Wednesday at 4 p.m. exclusively on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17.
An expert analysis on women's health, as well as giving you a guide to healthy living. Join me every Wednesday and Saturday on Gyna Plus as we delve into these issues, only on Afia TV.
How markets? This is the question women market people go answer on every How Market episode on Afia TV.
For years, in fact, I've been spent decades doing the business. I schooled through this business.
As you can see my shop, I am a marketer of fiber.
Hello, how market?
Fine.
Fine. How much?
We have made it our mission to promote smaller businesses in the southeast region of Nigeria. Makana Obuife Jimaraye. So when we ask how markets, it's because we embrace that spirit of enterprise.
My name is Market Pikin. When you hear How Market, you say you don't miss the Market Pikin. And How Market is Afia TV original program where they dedicated to empowering small and medium scale businesses inside Southeast and South region of Nigeria. Every weekday, 11:30 a.m. on Afia TV channel 254 on DSTV and on GoTV channel 17. Let's meet, let's connect on How Market.
So Lunch Break is all about the music, fun, entertaining, and joystick conversations with your fave celebrities and more. A throwback song of the day and a whole lot more on the show. 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. is the time. It happens every weekday right here on Afia TV. And I am your host with the flows, ladies and gents. You already know. It's the dark child from the east side. They call me Choco. We don't do nothing loco because I always stay fly. But that's supposed to.
As market speaking, I don't show inside the market. And you know what? There are different markets within the region. I mean, the southeast and the south region. And this market, I'm going to bring all the story about them to you. Come on. You're welcome. Thank you. How much?
5,000.
The price. Apart from buying and selling, we still need to tell you stories about these markets. The place. The market. The people.
This is The Market. Premieres every Monday by 1 p.m. on Afia TV.
They say we're just traders. But have you met the Igbo innovator challenging the tech space here in Africa? Or the woman leading the construction space? Or the young man who has decided to turn this region into a tourist haven? This is about the dreamers, the doers, those who are changing the norms in the entrepreneurial space. This is Onyafia. Aiba Makandibo, because that's the reason why we're here. That's the elephant in the room. What are the measures that business owners can take? How can they go about this? I'm Odera Collins, and I will be your host for this season. Join me on this journey as I bring you face to face with people building legacy businesses right here in the Orient.
Don't exhaust what you want to tell me.
This is a masterclass for tomorrow's entrepreneurs. Every story is a real life lesson. Every episode is a guide from people who have done it, and are still doing it. We're not just doing business, we're changing the game, and we're showing you how to play it smart. Join us every weekday by 11:30 a.m. on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254, GoTV channel 17, and Free TV channel 748.
This is
Nwanne, ọkwa ịma na ụwa bụ ụwa Chukwu, mana ọkwa ife ogbe a bụ ogbe anyị. Ka ife na-eme n'ogbe gị.
This side, ọkụ adọrọ, and the mmiri adọrọ.
Mana ebe a adịcha mma n'abalị. Ị na-aga jidesie foonu gị ike, jidesie ike maka ịnụ ifu ka ibe gị na-agba ọsọ narịsibe ike.
This is Ogbe. That is what we do right here.
Every week we spotlight different ogbe. And also celebrate people from the street. These are my guys. These are my people. What I go? Ogbe. Like men. One day, this is what we do right here. Don't forget that we are live on every Thursday by 1 p.m. You want to go? Tune to channel 254 on DSTV and channel 17 on GoTV. It's an Afia affair. You want to go? It's an Ogbe affair. One day.
Across the world, women are not just participating, they are transforming industry. Behind every success story, there is a vision, and behind every breakthrough, there is a woman who refuses to give up, turning challenges into opportunities and proving that there is no limit as to what they can achieve. My name is Marvelous Apwamaga. Join us every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. right here on Afia Television to explore stories of these powerful women in the business world across the country.
Good morning. It's Thursday, the 28th day of August 2025, and of course it's 10 o'clock. That means trading has opened for the day on the floor of the Nigerian Exchange in Lagos, Abuja, and at the Onitsha Exchange. A day of business has still long begun, whether you're in Onitsha main market, area markets in Aba, Better markets in Enugu, or Niwi, Port Harcourt, Owerri, Asaba, Abakaliki, wherever you are in the region or the rest of the world. A very good morning to you. My name is Marvelous Apwamaga, and you're welcome to the Afia Business Morning. This morning, CBN sells additional OMO bills to investors at 26.49%. And of course, as you know, trading on the floor of the Nigerian Exchange is open for today. The exchange in London opened an hour ago. The New York Exchange is yet to open, while in China, the exchange is opened at 2 a.m. local time. We'll be looking at how the markets closed yesterday on opening bell, as well as news around the region on the Eastern Business Report. But first, the Afia News Update.
Many thanks for staying tuned to Afia TV. This is News Update, and I am Ogochukwu Osai.
We begin the news update in Abia State, where the state governor, Dr. Alex Oti, has asked Christians in the country not to abandon their biblical mandate as salt and light of the world, even as he lauded church leaders in the state for their immense encouragement and support to his administration since it came on board on May 29, 2023. In other news, President Bola Tinubu says his administration is set to empower 7 7 million young Nigerians with digital and professional skills, aiming to create millions of job opportunities in the next 2 years. Meanwhile, the National Insurance Commission and Corporate Affairs Commission have agreed to deepen collaboration to ensure a seamless implementation of the Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Act 2025. On the foreign scene, the French, German, and Polish leaders have promised to support President Maya Sandu's pro-European allies, who is facing a stiff challenge in an election next month. And from the world of sports, following the conclusion of the digital registration management process, a total of 6,382 individuals representing all 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory are expected to converge in Asaba for the Games, scheduled to be opened on August 29th through September 6th, 2025.
And that's all on the news update. For more information, visit our website. Follow us on all social media platforms at Afia TV Official. I am Ogochukwu Osai. Many thanks for watching.
The NGX closed yesterday on a low, but it was a different story in the United States, where the markets ended higher, and in London trading closed negative, while in China the market recorded no movement alongside some negative readings. We will be looking at all this as well as commodity prices at the exchanges and in the open market, all this over the next half hour. Opening bell begins now. The NGX closed yesterday on a low, but it was a different story in the United States, where the markets ended higher, and in London, trading closed negative, while in China, the market recorded no movement alongside some negative readings. We will be looking at how the markets ended as well as our commodities report, but first let's take some news stories, beginning with news from the monetary policy development. The Central Bank of Nigeria conducted another round of open market operations on Wednesday, offering 300 billion naira worth of OMO bills with a maturity period of 83 days. Following a successful auction on Tuesday, the Apex Bank returned to the market with a single tenure OMO issuance targeted at both local banks and foreign portfolio investors who participated actively in the auction. The sale attracted strong investor interest, with total subscriptions nearly tripling the amount on offer, resulting in a bid to offer ratio of 2.9 times. Ultimately, the CBN allotted a total of 842.5 billion naira in OMO bills at a stop rate of 26.49, far exceeding the initial offer size. And moving on to the foreign exchange market, where the naira strengthened marginally to 1,537 naira per dollar at the foreign exchange market amid sustained accretion into Nigeria's foreign reserves. FX port data from the Central Bank of Nigeria showed that the naira recovered from previous day pressures from increased demand for dollars. The FX rate closed at 1,537.07 naira at the official window, from 1,537 naira 61 kobo per dollar the previous day. Some analysts attributed the exchange rate recovery to the latest round of dollar inflows from foreign portfolio investors that participated in the CBN open market operations. Still in the financial space, but this time on regulation, Nigerians are set to benefit from stronger insurance protections as President Bola Tinubu signs into law the Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Act 2025, a sweeping overhaul of the sector that introduces tougher penalties for fake operators and makes insurance mandatory for a wide range of everyday risk. The new law not only cracks down on unlicensed insurers, but also compels coverage for buildings above one floor, public facilities like schools and hospitals, petrol stations, and government-owned assets, signaling a major push to deepen insurance penetration and restore trust in the industry. Analysts believe the reform could deepen insurance penetration in Nigeria, which remains one of the lowest in Africa, and give citizens more confidence than when that when disaster strikes, there will be compensation and support. And now it's time for us to dive straight onto the floors of our featured exchanges, starting on the floor of the Niger Stock Exchange, where the NGX All-Share Index yesterday closed on a low, declining by 0.36%, a loss of 512.660 points to close at 141,248.76 points, a total of 682,889,972 shares, valued at 22,222,415,539 naira 81 kobo, were traded across 28,695 deals, with equity capitalization of 89,372,451,941,542 naira 30 kobo. The biggest gainers of the day were Deep Cap, Legendenti, Honeyflow, Tantalizer, and Afri Prudential. On the other hand, FG Souk 2031S4, Cornerstone, Outer Briscoe, Lotus House 15, and ABC Transport all topped the losers list. Away from that and straight to the floor of our New York Stock Exchange, where it all rises. NYC Composite DJs up by 0.24%, NYC 100 Index is up by 0.21%, Dow Jones Industrial Average is up by 0.32%, S&P 500 Index is up by 0.24%, NYC Fang TM Index is up by 0.46%, Nasdaq Composite is up by 0.21%, and Nasdaq 100 is also up by 0.17%. And to the floor of the London Stock Exchange, where it all dips in index values. FTSE 100 is down by 0.11%, FTSE 200 is down by 0.26%, FTSE 350 is down by 0.13%, FTSE Ocean Index is also down by 0.13%. And moving on to China and onto the floor of the Shenzhen Exchange, where it still all dips. Shenzhen Component Index is down by 1.43%. Shenzhen Composite Index is down by 1.91%. China's index is also down by 0.69%. And staying in China, but this time on the floor of the Shanghai Exchange, where it's still, where it's mostly no movement. SSE Composite Index is at 0.00%, SSE 50 Index 0.00%, Star 50 Index 0.00%, SSE 180 Index 0.00%, and SSE 380 Index is also at 0.00%. Now for CSI 300 Index, we see an upward movement of 0.47%. We'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at our commodity prices as well as our consumer price watch in the open market. Opening bell, we'll be right back.
The Nigerian Bar Association is coming to Enugu, the host state, and bringing with it over 11,000 legal practitioners. Don't miss this golden opportunity for your business or your service to be seen, to be heard. Increase your brand's visibility and audibility on Afia TV and Afia Radio.
Enjoy 20% discount on all adverts during the conference period from August 22nd to August 31st. Book your slots now.
Here at Afia TV News, we are intentional about the things we put together for your consumption. If it answers the basic news questions of where, when, how, and who, then we got you. Whether it is breaking news or stories around you, here we are intentional about news reportage, tailor-made just for you. Afia TV News. News today, news tonight, news all the time.
Start your day with your daily mix of business, lifestyle, and culture originating from the southeastern part of Nigeria.
Should we be exempting small businesses from taxes.
How do you feel about guys who do attachments or braid their hair or wear earrings?
It's a generational problem. A lot of young people feel, I think I know it, if I could Google it, I don't need to be mentored.
Originating from the southeastern part of Nigeria. If you're interested in views, opinions, arguments, discussions about national issues, then the AM show is the place to be. If you also would love to know what happens around the eastern part of Nigeria, then you do not want to miss this show Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. exclusively on Afia TV.
Here on the Eastern Eye, our sights are set on the political, social, and economic developments around us, from Enugu to Umuahia, from Port Harcourt to Owerri, from Aba to Abakaliki, from Oka to Asaba, and down to Uyo. We'll bring you the views, previews, and analyses of people who make the news in and around the region. The Eastern Eye provides an opportunity for those in the Southeast to have their voice, to find their voice, share their voice. The Eastern Eye, the Southeast window to the rest of the world.
I am Marvelous Apwamaganya. Welcome back to Opening Bell right here on the Afia Business Morning, showing on Afia TV channel 254 on DSTV, 17 on GoTV, and 748 on Free TV, broadcasting live from the beautiful cool city. Now it's time to check in on our commodity prices, and we begin with our precious metals, and it is downward movement for gold today. Gold is down by 0.27%, palladium up by 0.64%, platinum up by 0.04%, silver is up by 0.08%. And we move to energy, where natural gas is up by 4.39%, coal down by 0.65%, oil Brent is down by 0.15%, and oil bonylite is flat at 0.00%. Brazil is down by 2.03%, Koibo is down by 2.02%. I'll move to industrial metals, where aluminium is down by 1.16%, lead down by 0.16%, copper is down by 0.26%, nickel is down by 0.30%, zinc is down by 0.51%, and tin, on the other hand, is up by 1.44%. Let's now take a look at our commodity prices, but in the open market, and there have been some drops in the price for food and some essentials, but drops in the prices of fuel have remained at the pumps. But beginning with food costs, we begin in Enugu, where a bag of rice is sold for 94,000 naira, 4-liter basin 15,000 naira, and a cup for 1,000 naira. And in Aba, we have a bag of rice sold for 84,000 naira, 4-liter basin 10,000 naira, and a cup 1,000 naira. In Southeast, we have 100,000 naira for a bag of rice, 4-liter basin for 10,000 naira, and a cup for 1,000 naira. And in Lagos, we have 65,000 naira for a bag of rice, 4-liter basin for 10,000 naira, and a cup for 1,000 naira. In Abuja, we have 70,000 naira for a bag of rice, 4-liter basin for 10,000 naira, and a cup for 1,000 naira. And local rice is sold a bag for 100,000 naira, 4-liter basin for 10,000 naira, and a cup for 1,000 naira. I'll move to our next commodity, which is beans. We're in Enugu, a bag of beans is sold for 65,000 naira, 4-liter basin 6,000 naira, and a cup for 500 naira. In Aba, we'll have a bag of beans sold for 65,000 naira, 4-liter basin 6,000 naira, and a cup 500 naira. Southeast, we have 65,000 naira for a bag of beans, 4-liter basin 6,000 naira, and a cup for 500 naira. In Lagos, we have 65,000 naira for a bag of beans, 4-liter basin for 5,500 naira, and a cup for 500 naira. In Abuja, we have a bag of beans sold for 65,000 naira, 4-liter basin 6,000 naira, and a cup for 500 naira. In Port Harcourt, we have a bag of beans sold for 65,000 naira, 4-liter basin 6,000 naira, and a cup 500 naira. Moving on to our next commodity, which is Gari, where in Enugu a bag of Gari sold for 90,000 naira, 4-liter basin for 3,500 and a cup for 350 naira. And in Aba, we have a bag of Gari sold for 80,000 naira, 4-liter basin 3,500 and a cup for 350 naira. In Southeast, we have a bag of Gari sold for 60,000 naira, 4-liter basin 3,500 and a cup for 350 naira. And in Lagos, we have a bag of Gari sold for 80,000 naira, 4-liter basin for 3,000 naira and a cup for 350 naira. And in Abuja, we have a bag of Gari sold for 80,000 naira, 4-liter basin 3,500 naira and a cup of Gari 350 naira. In Port Harcourt, we have 90,000 naira for a bag of Gari, 4-liter basin for 3,500 and a cup of Gari for 350 naira. And we move to our next commodity, which is yam, where in Enugu a tuber of yam is sold for 6,000 naira, Anambra 5,000 naira. Southeast, basically, we have 5,000 naira for a tuber of yam. And in Lagos, we have 5,000 naira for a tuber of yam. Abuja, a tuber of yam is sold for 4,000 naira. And Port Harcourt, we have 6,000 naira for a tuber of yam. We move to plantain, which is our next commodity on the list, where in Enugu a bunch is sold for 12,000 naira. 5 fingers, 3,000 naira. In Anambra, we have 12,000 naira for a bunch of plantain and 3,000 naira for 5 fingers. Southeast, we have 8,000 naira for a bunch of plantain and 2,500 naira for 5 fingers. In Lagos, we have 12,000 naira for a bunch of plantain and we have 4,000 naira for 5 fingers. In Abuja, 12,000 naira for a bunch of plantain and 4,000 naira for 5 fingers. In Southwest, we have 6,000 naira for a bunch of plantain and 2,500 naira for 5 fingers. We move to our next commodity, which is palm oil, where in Enugu 5 liters of palm oil sold for 10,000 naira, 25 liters 50,000 naira. In Southeast, 10,000 naira for 5 liters of palm oil and 25 liters for 50,000 naira. In Lagos, we have 12,500 naira for 5 liters of palm oil and 75,000 naira for 25 liters. In Edo State, we have 10,000 naira for 5 liters of palm oil and 50,000 naira for 25 liters. Southwest, we have 10,000 naira for 5 liters of palm oil and 50,000 naira for 25 liters. Moving on to our next commodity, which is granule oil, where in Enugu 5 liters of granule oil is sold for 18,000 naira, 25 liters sold for 60,000 naira. Southeast, we have 18,000 naira for 5 liters of granule oil and 60,000 naira for 25 liters. In Lagos, we have 18,000 naira for 5 liters of granule oil and 60,000 naira for 25 liters. Northeast, we have 15,000 naira for 5 liters of granule oil and 40,000 naira for 25 liters. Northwest, we have 15,000 naira for 5 liters of granule oil and 40,000 naira for 25 liters. Moving on to vegetable oil, where in Enugu 5 liters of vegetable oil sold for 18,000 naira, 25 liters 60,000 naira. Southeast, we have 18,000 naira for 5 liters of vegetable oil and 60,000 naira for 25 liters. In Lagos, we have 18,000 naira for 5 liters of vegetable oil and 60,000 naira for 25 liters. In Abuja, we have 15,000 naira for 5 liters of vegetable oil and 40,000 naira for 25 liters. Southwest, we have 15,000 naira for 5 liters of vegetable oil and 40,000 naira for 25 liters. We move to our next commodity, which is fuel. We are in Enugu. Our last a liter of petrol in Enugu is sold for 910 naira to 950 naira. Diesel 1,150, 1,120 to 1,200 naira. Kerosene 1,000 to 1,150 naira. Gas 1,160 to 1,200 naira. And in Imo State, we have a liter of petrol sold for 910 to 950 naira. Diesel 1,150 to 1,200 naira. Kerosene 1,000 to 1,150 naira. And gas 1,160 to 1,300 naira. And in Southeast, we have a liter of petrol sold for 910 to 950 naira. Diesel 1,150 to 1,200 naira, kerosene 1,000 to 1,150 naira, and gas 1,160 to 1,300 naira. And we move on to Lagos, where we have a liter of petrol sold for 895 to 920 naira, diesel 992 naira to 1,050 naira, kerosene 1,010 to 1,100 naira, and gas 1,100 to 1,200 naira. In Abuja, we have a liter of petrol sold for 910 to 950 naira, diesel 1,150 to 1,200 naira, kerosene 1,000 to 1,150 naira, gas 1,160 to 1,200 naira. And Southwest, we have a liter of petrol sold for 910 to 950 naira, diesel 1,150 to 1,200 naira, kerosene 1,000 to 1,150 naira, and gas That's 1,160 naira to 1,300 naira. We'll go on a quick break as opening bell is done, but the business morning continues. Do not forget that opening bell will return tomorrow when the exchanges reopen for trading. When we return, we'll take all the news from the Eastern Business Front as well as our report from our correspondents around the region. The Afia Business Morning. We'll be right back.
Here on the Eastern Eye, our sights are set on the political, social, and economic developments around us, from Enugu to Umuahia, from Port Harcourt to Owerri, from Aba to Abakaliki, from Oka to Asaba, and down to Uyo. We'll bring you the views, previews, and analyses of people who make the news in and around the region. The Eastern Eye provides an opportunity for those in the Southeast to have their voice, to find their voice, share their voice. The Eastern Eye, the Southeast window to the rest of the world.
Ndi Enugu, welcome to the covers political matters in Enugu State, Nigeria. If you're interested in conversations about governance or politics, Enugu Kwenu is the place to be every Wednesday at 4 p.m. exclusively on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17.
An expert analysis on women's health, as well as giving you a guide to healthy living. Join me every Wednesday and Saturday on Gyna Plus as we delve into these issues only on Afia TV.
How markets? This is not the question women market people go answer on every How Market episode on Afia TV.
For years, in fact, I've been spent decades doing the business. I schooled through this business.
As you can see my shop, I am a marketer of fiber.
Hello, how market?
Fine.
Fine. How much?
We have made it our mission to promote smaller businesses in the southeast region of Nigeria. Makana Obuife Jimaraye. So when we ask how markets, it's because we embrace that spirit of enterprise.
My name is Market Speaking. When you hear How Market, you say you don't miss the Market Speaking. And How Market is Afia TV original program where they dedicated to empowering small and medium scale businesses inside Southeast and South region of Nigeria. Every weekday, 11:30 a.m. on Afia TV channel 254 on DSTV and on GoTV channel 17. Let's meet, let's connect on How Market.
So Lunch Break is all about the music, fun, entertaining, and joystick conversations with your fave celebrities and more. A throwback song of the day and a whole lot more on the show. 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. is the time. It happens every weekday right here on Afia TV. And I am your host with the flows, ladies and germs. You already know. It's the dark child from the east side. They call me Choco. We don't do nothing loco because I always stay fly. But I'm supposed to.
As market speaking, I don't show inside the market. And you know what? There are different markets within the region. I mean, the Southeast and the South region. And this market, I'm going to bring all the story about them to you. Come on. You're welcome. Thank you. How much?
5,000.
The price.
Apart from buying and selling, we still need to tell you stories about these markets.
The place.
The market. The people.
This is The Market. Premieres every Monday by 1 p.m. on Afia TV.
They say we're just traders. But have you met the Igbo innovator challenging the tech space here in Africa? Or the woman leading the construction space? Or the young man who has decided to turn this region into a tourist haven? This is about the dreamers, the doers, those who are changing the norms in the entrepreneurial space. This is Onafia. Aiba Makandibo, because that's the reason why we're here. That's the elephant in the room. What are the measures that business owners can take? How can they go about this? I'm Odera Collins, and I will be your host for this season. Join me on this journey as I bring you face to face with people building legacy businesses right here in the Orient. Don't exhaust what you want to tell me. This is a masterclass for tomorrow's entrepreneurs. Every story is a real life lesson. Every episode is a guide from people who have done it and are still doing it. We're not just doing business, we're changing the game, and we're showing you how to play it smart. Join us every weekday by 11:30 a.m. on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254, GoTV channel 17, and Free TV channel 748.
Okay, welcome back to the Afia Business Morning, and now it's time to move into the business environment in the Eastern region. I am Marvelous Apwamaga. Welcome to the Eastern Business Report. This is the Eastern Business Report, where we look at the business ecosystem in the Eastern region and also discuss topics affecting the region's economy. But first, business news from the region, beginning in Imo State, where the governor of Imo State, Governor Hope Uzodimma, has approved a new minimum wage of 104,000 naira for state civil servants. Uzodimma made this known during a meeting with various labor union leaders on Tuesday night at the government house in Owerri. The minimum wage was increased from 76,000 naira to 104,000 naira. Also increased were the minimum wages of doctors from 215,000 naira to 503,000 naira, while those of teachers in tertiary institutions were increased from 119,000 naira to 222,000 naira, among others. Away from that, the Abia State Governor Alex Oti has reiterated his administration's commitment to the speedy completion of the proposed 10,000 barrel per day modular refinery project in the state. The refinery, to be sited within the Abia Industrial and Innovation Park, Owaza, is being developed by HSI Energies Group and is expected to create about 1,000 direct jobs in addition to several indirect employment opportunities for residents. Governor Oti gave the assurance on Wednesday when he received the management team of HSI Energies Group, led by its group Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Ugumba Okezionwosu, who visited his office to present a progress update on the project ahead of construction work at the site. highlighting the vast potential of the Abia Industrial and Innovation Park, which spans about 2,000 hectares. Oti said the facility has the capacity to host multiple industries, adding that his government remains committed to creating an enabling environment that will attract and sustain business investment in the state. Still in Abia State, the governor, Alex Oti, has pledged the state partnership with the Nigerian Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies on a project aimed at promoting made-in-Aba products. The governor made the commitment when he received a delegation from NIPSS, led by the board chairperson, Senator Ken Namani, and the Director General, Professor Ayo Motayo, at his country home in Uvosi and Selangwa North local government area. Oti emphasized that creating an enabling environment remains central to attracting and sustaining investment, stressing that Nigeria cannot achieve $1 trillion economy through trade alone. According to him, such economic transformation can only be realized through manufacturing and improved productivity. He further assured the visiting delegation of Abia State full support for the initiative. Away from that, the National Agency for Food and Drug Control, NAFDAC, says it has returned a 5 million naira check to its owner, Mr. Godfrey Chukwudi. The drug agency, in a post on its social media handle on Wednesday, disclosed that the money was discovered during the open drug market operation at Tenant Road, Aba, Abia State in February. The post further explained that its investigation found that the funds totaling 5 million naira belonged to a point-of-sale operator, Mr. Chukwudi Godfrey. Recall that in February, NAFTA created Ikumi Plaza, a prominent drug market in Aba, during which large quantities of fake, unregistered and banned drugs were allegedly discovered and seized. Away from the southeast and moving on to the south-south, where a large number of Niger Delta youth leaders on Wednesday staged a protest at the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited towers in Abuja, disrupting movement in and around the central business district. The protesters, who converged at the premises as early as 6 a.m., blocked the entrance and exit gates of the building, causing heavy traffic gridlock along Herbert Macaulay Way. Carrying banners with bold inscriptions, the demonstrators demanded the resignation of NNPCL's Group Chief Executive Officer, Bashir Ojulari, whom they accused of corruption and mismanagement. They further called for the appointment of an indigene of the Niger Delta region as the next GCEO of the company. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll be taking reports from our correspondents in Enugu State. Stay with us.
With United Nigeria Airlines, every destination tells a story of unity and strength in the skies. Enjoy a curated selection of meals and beverages, seamless entertainment options, and personalized service designed to make every journey memorable. Planning your next trip has never been easier. With our user-friendly mobile app, you can book flights, manage your itinerary, and even check in right at your fingertip. Rely on our commitment to on-time departures, safety, and reliability, ensuring you arrive at your destination hassle-free. Unite how you unite. Fly United Nigeria Airlines.
This is Wale, ọkwa na ụwa bụ ụwa Chukwu, mana ọkwa ife ogbe a bụ ogbe anyị. Ka ife na-eme n'ogbe gị.
Inside ọkụ adọrọ and the mmiri adọrọ.
Mana ebe a adịcha mma n'abalị. Ị na-aga jidesie foonu gị ike, jidesie ike maka ịnụ ifu ka ibe gị na-agba ọsị narịsibe ike.
This is Ogbe, that is what we do right here.
Every week we spotlight different ogbe. and also celebrate people from the street. These are my guys. These are my people. What I go? Like men, men. One day, this is what we do right here. Don't forget that we are live on every Thursday by 1 p.m. You want to go? Tune to channel 254 on DSTV and channel 17 on Go TV. It's an Afia affair. You want to go? It's an Obu affair. One day.
Across the world, women are not just participating, they are transforming industry. Behind every success story, there is a vision, and behind every breakthrough, there is a woman who refuses to give up, turning challenges into opportunities and proving that there is no limit as to what they can achieve. My name is Marvelous Akwamada. Join us every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. right here on Afia Television to explore stories of these powerful women in the business world across the country.
You're still watching the Eastern Business Report right here on the Afia Business Morning. As the Nigeria Bar Association Annual General Conference continues at the ICC Enugu, attention is not only on the plenary but also on activities around the venue. At Okpara Square, just across the street, Mami Market has become a hub for lawyers to relax, eat and interact. Afia TV's Kosi NA reports on how customers are experiencing the market during the conference. Let's take a look.
The Mami Market at Okpara Square has experienced increased activity. The market, set up for the duration of the conference, has become a meeting point for lawyers across the country, offering not just affordable meals, but also drinks, clothing, and other essentials, all in a lively atmosphere outside the formal conference halls.
Yesterday, we spoke to business owners at Mami Market here in Okpara Square to find out about how the MBA conference has been driving sales. Today, we are speaking to the customers and the lawyers about their experience in the market.
Experience here is relatively good. Things are actually not really affordable, but actually not too high too, because of maybe the economy. That is my experience so far.
I came all the way from Abuja for the MBA conference. Enugu is a nice place. The environment, the weather, the people, even the Mami Market that we're in now. It's a very good setting. Place is beautiful and the food is nice. We really appreciate the organizers of this conference, how they have made a lot of effort to see that this place is put in place for people to be comfortable, even while eating. Yeah. So we look forward to having another experience in Enugu once again in our lifetime. Thank you.
It has been a wonderful experience, full of joy and fun. You know, the organizers of this program, they tried within the shortest notice, few months. You know, it's in the public domain that it ought to have been in Port Harcourt. But out of what happened in Port, the state of emergency, they suddenly relocated it to Enugu. And within these shortest weeks or few months, I think up to like 3 months, they were able to fix it this way. This Mami Market for me is a full package. Whatever you want, you will see it. Be it food, be it fashion, be it books, academic books, everything is here. It's a full package that you always get what you want.
High here in Nigeria, but the way their prices are here is too exorbitant. The prices, imagine a bottle of water, ordinary water is 500 naira here. So in the open market it's 350 or 300 naira. So I don't know, maybe it's because of the inflow of lawyers that skyrockets the prices of things.
in heaven. As usual, it's the same thing. You get stuffs, lawyers' needs, lawyers' material, and you find good food, particularly when it has to do with the usual food of the people in the environment. For here now, things like abacha, you get it here because it's customary to the Igbo people. So things like that we get here. So it's normal. It's the usual experiences that we've had over the years in our conferences.
While business owners have welcomed the sales boost, it is the customer's perspective that adds another layer to the story. At the Dumamene market, lawyers find a mix of convenience and variety, from meals to everyday essentials, all just a few steps away from the main conference venue. As the MBA conference goes on, Dumamene Market remains a melting point of culture. Social moments for lawyers is not just about sessions at ICC, but also about the memorable experiences right across the street.
For many lawyers attending the MBA conference, Dumamene Market is not just a place to eat. It has become a place to unwind, to connect, and also to experience Enugu's unique hospitality. From Okpara Square, Enugu, Kosi Ene, reporting for Afia TV.
Thank you, Kosi. And weeks after its grand commissioning on the 14th of August, Afia TV has gone back to the university town to see how the newly commissioned Nsukka bus terminal has been faring in its day-to-day operations. Is it living up to the hopes and expectations of commuters and motorists? Afia TV correspondent Elijah Kuma has the answer in this report.
The new bus terminal was built to ease transportation costs for commuters in Nsukka town and provide a more modern and organized transport system. It boasts amenities like comfortable waiting areas, an easy payment system, designated loading zones, improved security measures, and so much more. Commuters have this to say.
Well, the CNG buses have created a conducive economical environment for students. I myself am a student. So compared to other competitions around, I've noticed now that with the presence of this station itself, that other competitions now have lessened their price, making it much more conducive for students to travel back and forth. So now, personally, I will be using this station more often than not. Why? Because they have varieties of buses available for any kind of event whatsoever. Because right now I'm preparing for a program. So other competitions around have a limited number of buses, 18 seaters, 16 seaters, and then it may not accommodate the entire number of people that want to go for what I want to go for. But then this station now has provided us with the opportunity now to go in a single file in one accord to where we want to go and come back whenever we want to come back.
I have to thank the government, Dr. Mbasa administration, for the provision of this type of transportation in the state. I appreciate it. It's a laudable program. But my worries is that sustainability. If we are able to, Nigerians, our problem is maintenance culture. If we shall maintain the system, I think it will last long and serve the masses as required. But if it is not being carefully managed, it might be a waste of resources. So I thank Governor Mba for providing this.
Chinenye Ihanye, a ticketing agent, explained the procedures for boarding the buses.
You just have to buy the card, which is 500 naira. Then the transportation from here to Enugu. For now, we are just taking in Holigos. For now, Holigos route. So from here to Holigos is 2,200, while the card is 500 naira. Now, for every top up you are doing, that's for every money you want to put in this card, we'll charge you just 15 naira for you to top up cash in this card. And you can put as much amount of money as you want. You can put 10,000, 5,000, 20,000, right? Now, there is a machine in the BRT bus. All you have to do is to tap close to the machine. It will now take the amount of money you're traveling with, and then you can now enter. And now if you're also going down, you also tap. It's just for the record. Then it will tell you goodbye.
Customer service is very okay. The way they attend to customer is okay. And I like the fact that it's using the 21st century technology about using your card to pay instead of using cash. But then the whole initiative is very okay. But then I think about the PIN, we should be able to load our card without having to come to the terminal point, like at the comfort of our home, load your cards. And then I think there should be a security check on our cards in case of misplacement for an already loaded card. We should be able to, once you come to check in, there should be a PIN that is just unique to you, so that once you misplace your card, someone else wouldn't make use of your card.
With the presence of this station, it makes our movement more than and more liquid and more efficient. So will I be using CNG buses from now onwards every day, all day, every day? And I do recommend that anybody that wants smooth travel, efficient travel, CNG bus is your way to.
The initial response to the Nsukka bus terminal is overwhelmingly positive. While challenges undoubtedly lie ahead, the terminal appears to be delivering on its promise of a more organized and efficient transportation experience. In Nsukka, Elijah Akuma, reporting for Afia TV.
Thank you, Elijah. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll give you more on the Eastern Business Report. Stay with us.
With United Nigeria Airlines, every destination tells a story of unity and strength in the skies. Enjoy a curated selection of meals and beverages, seamless entertainment options, and personalized service designed to make every journey memorable. Planning your next trip has never been easier. With our user-friendly mobile app, you can book flights, manage your itinerary, and even check in right at your fingertip. Rely on our commitment to on-time departures, safety, and reliability, ensuring you arrive at your destination hassle-free. Unite how you unite. Fly United Nigeria Airlines.
The Nigerian Bar Association is coming to Enugu, the host state, and bringing with it over 11,000 legal practitioners. Don't miss this golden opportunity for your business or your service to be seen, to be heard. Increase your brand's visibility and audibility on Afia TV and Afia Radio.
Enjoy 20% discount on all adverts during the conference period from August 22nd to August 31st. Book your slots now.
Afia TV News, we are intentional about the things we put together for your consumption. If it answers the basic news questions of where, when, how, and who, then we got you. Whether it is breaking news or stories around you, here we are intentional about news reportage, tailor-made just for you. Afia TV News. News today, news tonight, news all the time.
Start your day with your daily mix of business, lifestyle, and culture originating from the southeastern part of Nigeria.
Should we be exempting small businesses from taxes?
How do you feel about guys who do attachment or braid their hair or wear earrings?
It's a generational problem. A lot of young people feel, I think I know it, if I could Google it, I don't need to be mentored.
Originating from the southeastern part of Nigeria. If you're interested in views, opinions, arguments, discussions about national issues, then the AM show is the place to be. If you also would love to know what happens around the eastern part of Nigeria, then you do not want to miss this show Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. exclusively on Afia TV.
Here on the Eastern Eye, our sights are set on the political, social, and economic developments around us, from Enugu to Umuahia, from Port Harcourt to Owerri, from Aba to Abakaliki, from Oka to Asaba, and down to Uyo. We bring you the views, previews, and analyses of people who make the news in and around the region. The Eastern Eye provides an opportunity for those in the Southeast to have their voice, to find their voice, share their voice. The Eastern Eye, the Southeast window to the rest of the world.
Ndi Enugu, welcome to the covers political matters in Enugu State, Nigeria. If you're interested in conversations about governance or politics, Enugu Kwenu is the place to be every Wednesday at 4 p.m. exclusively on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17.
An expert analysis on women's health, as well as giving you a guide to healthy living. Join me every Wednesday and Saturday on Gyna Plus as we delve into these issues, only on Afia TV.
How markets? This is not the question women market people go answer on every How Market episode on Afia TV.
For years, in fact, I've been spent decades doing the business. I schooled through this business.
As you can see my shop, I am a marketer of fiber.
Hello, how market?
Fine.
Fine. How much?
We have made it our mission to promote smaller businesses in the southeast region of Nigeria, Makana Obuife Jimaraye. So when we ask how markets, it's because we embrace that spirit of enterprise.
My name is Market Pikin. When you hear How Market, you say you don't meet the Market Pikin. And How Market is Afia TV original program where they dedicated to empowering small and medium-scale businesses inside Southeast and South-South region of Nigeria. Every weekday, 11:30 a.m. on Afia TV channel 254, on DSTV, and on GoTV channel 17. Let's meet, let's connect on How Market.
So Lunch Break is all about the music, fun, entertaining, and joystick conversations with your fave celebrities and more. A throwback song of the day and a whole lot more on the show. 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. is the time. It happens every weekday right here on Afia TV. And I am your host with the flows, ladies and germs. You already know. It's the dark child from the east side. They call me Choco. We don't do nothing loco because I always stay fly. But I'm supposed to.
As
As market speaking, I don't show inside the market. And you know what? There are different markets within the region. I mean, the southeast and the south region. And this market, I'm going to bring all the story about them to you. Come on. You're welcome. Thank you. How much? 5,000.
The price.
Apart from buying and selling, we still need to tell you stories about these markets.
The place.
The market. The people.
This is The Market. Premieres every Monday by 1 p.m. on Afia TV.
You're still watching the Eastern Business Report right here on the Afia Business Morning. Enugu State just turned 34. Created in 1991, the coast city has a history that goes even further back, born out of coal mining, later becoming the capital of the old eastern region. And over the years, Enugu has moved from being the heartbeat of Nigeria's coal industry to a civil service hub, and now it's pushing to redefine itself in today's economy. In our discussion today, we'll reflect on how far the state has come, the leaders who shaped the journey, and what must be done if Enugu is to truly compete in the years ahead. Joining me now on the program to talk about this is Dr. Ambrose Iboke, Chairman, Guild of Public Affairs Analysts of Nigeria, Enugu State Chapter. You're welcome on the program.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Fine. I'm baptized on the show now.
Oh, you are. So Enugu has turned 34. When you look back over the years, do you think the state has been able to move? What do you think about the state's journey? How far would you say we have come? And has it lived up to the hopes of people who created it back in 1991?
We are very lucky that Enugu, as a metropolis, has been home as capital to the whole of Eastern region. You know, when we say Eastern region, then it comprises of the, I think, 4 of the, let's say 5 of the current South-South zone states, and then 5 of the Southeast states. So we're talking about, well, we have like 10 states now. Enugu was the capital then. And it became a very viable commercial city as early as, I think, 1909. It has already become a commercial city. This yellow taxi color we are using came also in the 1900s, and then, I mean, the black stripe represents coal. The white and the yellow represent the fire for coal. I think Lagos copied from us later, that yellow and black thing. So over the years, it transmitted to eastern states, east central states, okay, from the region to east central states before the war. And then some states were not carved out, like Rivers State was carved out in 1967 and all those things. So, and then Anambra State was not created, I think, in 1976. And then the old Anambra and Imo states. And then until we dovetailed to 1991. The cry, that time with Anambra State, there was also this dichotomy of Anambra people and then the people they call the Wawa, people comprising of Enugu and Ebonyi states now. And there have been a clarion call, even from the 70s, that the people called the Wawa people should have their own state because the population is large enough. There were cries of marginalization. So people felt that when we have our own state, it should now bring development closer. So that dream materialized in 1991, 27th August, which was the day of the anniversary of Babangida's head of state. You know, he overthrew Buhari 27th August 1985. So that 27th August 1991 was an anniversary kind of thing, and he created some of these states. And then in 1996, when the new Enugu State was created in 1991, we had 3 regional senatorial zones. We have the Abakaliki, we had the Enugu, and then we had the Nsukka. So the Abakaliki zone then now became Ebonyi State in 1996. So we now had Enugu State now. So from 1996, Enugu has been the way it is now. So creating it in 1991 suggests that we have come a long way. When you look at where we were when the state was created and what we are now, it has been a tremendous journey of development. At that time when we were the old Anambra State, basically once you do Onitsha and do Enugu, there's nothing again. So Nsukka was just there because of the university, but it's not even expanded. It was just that Enugu Road, University Market Road, and that is it. But you can see that when Enugu State was created, the trajectory of development started, expanding. So we could see in 34 years, as a kid who comes home with my uncle is a GTC boy, so he went to Government Technical College, I think the 1972 set. So he used to bring us back to Enugu from Warri, where I grew up with him. And each time we come, I remember we go to the zoo, and then we also try to go to Nike Resorts. That time, a drive from GTC, GRA to Nike used to be like a journey, like you are traveling. Because just villages, we are talking about the late 80s, and it was not like villages around. But we can see what has happened just because of development of, the creation of Enugu State. There's been exponential, explosion of urban, the rural towns have now become urban areas. Look at areas like Agban, look at areas like Ame, Chokonano, all those places, even down to Ozala, they are opened up down to Ogu. Look at the other side, if you are talking Emine, Abakaliki Road, Enugu Abakaliki Road opened up too. When you go to Abakwa is an explosion. I mean, it just exploded with development and opportunities. Now we are pursuing Nsukka too, started having a lot of growth that was not only centered at the university, but now centered at commerce, and started absorbing towns. Edobara is almost merged with Nsukka. So also some other towns like Unru, even Oba, and all those. So it is a great thing that we have been able to. If you pass the old road, all those other towns or home and all those, they are already almost merged now. So you could see the development. Ugogonike Road, that used to be a forest. We could see that one single road that just opened it up, and today with the urbanization on the way, so you could say that it has been all be positive for us. We have expanded our civil service. There was more opportunity for people to enter the civil service. We were able to create the old Anambra State. Remember, just one university, the University of Nigeria. Basically, so everybody wanted in there. There even workers. There was a lot of marginalization of people from Wawa and all those things. But we can see with Enugu State, just from 1991, we could see many higher institutions have come in here. We could see the exponential growth in education, private universities, all those things. So those things drive the economy. And if the state, I wonder if Enugu State was not created in 1991, whether we'll have this kind of exponential economic growth we have had.
Enugu is often described as a civil service state. Do you think the state has been able to move past that label?
Yeah, Enugu State is correct to call it a civil service state then, but now is gradually leaving that toga. When you say civil service, that means, okay, the preponderance of employed people are from the civil service, okay? But what we see now are a lot of, so if you call the civil service, unless you want to expand the scope of civil service, but if you just restrict it to government employed people, working in the ministries, MDAs, and the rest, then you can now see that Enugu has gone beyond that. Because you now start, doing a comparative analysis between the private employers of labor and the government. Though the government is still higher, but you now find out that private employers are coming up seriously in Enugu. If you want to count the number of private universities, you want to count the number of private secondary schools, you want to count the number of private polytechnics, higher institutions, nursery schools, and the rest, you could see that there's a lot of growth. You want to count markets, you want to talk about the stores, Beta, Bakpa Market, or Kayanta, and all those things. You now find out that there's a lot of people now working. So Enugu is gradually even shedding its toga of a civil service state to a cosmopolitan commercial hub. Gradually, that is happening. And even with government now trying to also do PPP arrangements and the rest, you now find out it's not strictly what we used to do as civil service. While the government is also wrapping up employment, for example, for the smart schools, the one they want to employ for the type 2 hospitals and the rest. So you could see that it's a bloom. Are we going to talk about the real estate, the explosion of real estate in Enugu that has made further before now, hitherto, rural areas almost becoming urban areas. So when you even drive through Abakwa, you have passed Abakwa, you are now going into, you have passed this Nkwanike, you are now moving out of town. Those places used to be forest. But right now, Gogonike itself is, we have a private university, the more universities are coming up there, real estate lands have been almost sold out. So, and then there's something about Enugu that attracts even people who are not from Enugu State. So Enugu is like the capital of Igbo heritage, apart from the political and the socio-economic. It's becoming like every Igbo man who is of means wants to have something to do with Enugu. So it's either he wants to have a house, he wants to build one, or real estate. And even he wants to do business in Enugu. So that has been impacted because of what we have been able to do in the past 34 years. And leaders who conceived that also, people like Sisi Ono, the late Sisi Ono, people like Igwe Abango, Uwebe Wobudo, Naji. So a lot of people, them, and all those people that fought tirelessly. A lot of them, which I can't remember the names now. Today, a couple of them are still alive. Someone like Mr. Dukeya is still alive. He's even causing on radio shows and the rest. The man is still very strong. I think when he looks back, they will be very happy that what they fought for. I think Igwe Wobudo is still alive too. So most of them, some of them are still alive, and I think they'll be very, very happy with that, with themselves. That they fought for this, it came to limelight, and they're seeing the success of what they have fought for.
Yeah, let's talk about Enugu's identity. Coal is what Enugu is known for, but right now we don't hear of coal anymore. It looks like coal is gone. Would you say Enugu has outlived its coal years?
Enugu, that was then. In fact, the name Enugu is known for its beautiful hills. In fact, that's why it's called Enugu. That is top of the hill, the hilltop in English. So, first of all, it is the scenic beauty of the town. Those days before we started having this encroachment of the flora and fauna under Milky Hill, which is a very terrible thing happening there, real estate everywhere of that day. This is a place we're supposed to preserve as canopy walkways for the forest, but Nigerians and our way, we don't preserve nature. So we'll do whatever we want, we'll destroy that place. You used to see cascading mountains, go to Soka, go to Enugu here, go to Ngo. So it's not for that. Then the coal was the first international commercial activity of the town, of the area. And that's why it was coal mining. And especially the issues of the Kuleri massacre that happened, I think, in the 40s, that brought Enugu out more to national consciousness, even internationally, because of what happened. So Enugu people already know how to fight for their right. But the coal era, diminished because coal was used to power energy, electricity, and the rest. So with the discovery of oil in 1956 and the further exploitation of the oil through JVCs and the rest, we now found out that Nigeria concentrated more, and the world also moved. Remember the trains in Europe and everywhere in the world were being powered by train. The locomotive trains were being actually powered by coal. So, the way we are exporting oil now was what coal was then. But even then, between the late 50s and the 60s, Enugu was not only known for coal. During the Michael Opara years, you could see that industries sprang up. The Niger gas, the different companies, the assembly plants, the asphalt plants, the palm oil. Later, we became known for palm oil exports. In the 60s, we were no more a coal exporting entity. We became a palm exporting entity. and industries. Remember when it was East Central State, this industrial estate in Emene, there was an industrial corridor from Emene to Bomadi in the current, in the present River State, because that time it was Eastern region, and that Calabar, Ujo, all those places, Port Harcourt, they were all part of. There's an industrial corridor, and that is why the Port Harcourt Expressway was also built to connect Port Harcourt to the state capital, where exports can be done. There was rail line then too. So the rail line was also now later used for exportation of palm kernels, exportation of palm oil, and the rest. But oil did to Nigeria what happened to Enugu also. Enugu being a subset of Nigeria. So the over-dependence on oil, crude oil, affected the other parts. But again, there was a renaissance of industries in the 80s, between 1979 and December 31st, between 1st October 1979, December 31st, 1983, when the Third Republic, the Second Republic was birthed. And you could see a lot of things happening. That was where someone like Sam Mbakwe built the airport, and then Jim Wobodo, who was in the old Anambra State that time, did a lot also. But after that, we found out that although there was no more coal in this era, but we have divested into so many things. So coming down now, the coal business is actually even in a high demand now in Europe and other places. But now it's not the way it was processed then. They are processing it now to have less emission of carbons, so that we can earn our own carbon credit and the rest. But there are a lot of businesses now, as you could say. Enugu could still become the coal capital of Nigeria, because there's no state yet that has overtaken it. Right now, as we speak, a lot of coal mining activities are going on, and regulated and all those things. And when you go, there's still a lot of exports from coal from here. So it's a coal city state, and that is why it still bears that name. And then the coal has refused to go. In fact, it's bouncing back.
Yeah, so is this something you think the government should really look into?
I think the government is already looking into that already. It's already regulated. I say there's even a special advisor on that. So a lot is going on. And the government in different fora has talked about trying to get a rail line to move the coal to somewhere to Port Harcourt, so that they can link the national rail design, so that it can link, so that it can be taken for export also. So the government is already looking into that seriously. But I have also advocated that Nigeria will do too much of copycats, while we talk about carbon credits, carbon emissions, climate change, and all those kind of things. Third world countries should be very careful about these things, because it's affecting the economy. So, but a lot of these people, some of these people in Europe is using coal. Some of them are using coal, some of them are using fuel, some of them are using all these things that we should not use. So we need to really examine the Kyoto, there's what you call Kyoto Protocol, which some countries signed up, and all those that will not use coal. Coal was one of the things affected. So if China could use coal, if other countries could use coal, even America can use coal, the mining pits have been, reactivated in many places. And so we should look at our own differently, and also look at the economic impact of it.
When you look at Enugu State today, where would you say the state has made progress the most, and where would you say we are lagging behind?
Now, one of the things that the state has developed so much is the human resource, the human capital development. When you check 1991, how many Enugu State indigents could have some, qualifications to run some certain things like the civil service, and we're very few. But today, we have all sorts of individuals who can run anything in the world, not just in Enugu State. So there have been a lot of human capital development. Our people are our greatest assets, and we have been able to develop a lot of that. If you go everywhere in Nigeria, everywhere in the world, the people of Enugu are shining. So even people who grew up in Enugu, like people like Chimamanda Adichie, keep saying, Nsukka, was her cradle. Even great people like Chinua Achebe, all people that are especially, we are not from Enugu State. Enugu still, is the anchor of most of the things they have done in the past. So that is one of the areas. In real estate, we are doing well. In if not for the current, the place we are having issues is we need to be more focused on urban developments and do kind of plan ahead. Well, right now, what is happening to Lagos is happening to Enugu, where, urban expansion is not planned. It happens spontaneously. So it happened to Lagos, and Lagos is having a lot of issues right now. So we should not allow that happen in Enugu. So although the housing is doing its own things, Ministry of Land, they are trying their way, but it's not enough to just want to say, oh, we have housing. They come and buy, you partition, you plan inside the estate. What of access to the place? So a road that is, taking care of a load of maybe 100 houses, all of a sudden, that same road is not taking care of 1,500 or 2,000, and it's not expanded. So it starts causing issues. And that's why sometimes we have started noticing when during Christmas, Enugu is locked down. It's on lockdown. Because it's still the same roads. So, but I'm happy that the current administration is doing a lot now in terms of trying to fix existing roads, trying to create new ones and the rest. But this inner city itself is becoming choked. So, and for it to expand, and that is why I'm happy with what they are doing about Enugu city, where they are opening up new places. So that's the best way. And with the dualization of Ugogo-Nike Road, then that whole corridor will not be. So that is a good area. So we are really expanding, and that is good. Then in policy, in administration, it has been taken a notch higher, and then we're also enjoying that.
Yeah, just in 60 seconds, Mr. Ibuke, before we let you go. Enugu at 34. What should be the top priorities right now for the government so that Enugu can be able to thrive economically and also compete in years to come?
Well, first, I think the government is in the right path. Okay. One is infrastructure development, human capital development, moving us from mundane, where we are, to digital age. And at the same time, looking into the welfare of the people. It's already doing well. We're one of the 3 states that don't depend on depend on the federal allocation for salaries and some of those things. So we need that to continue and to be escalated.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the program today.
Thank you very much for having me.
And that's the much you can take on the Eastern Business Report today. Till I see you at 10 a.m. tomorrow for another edition of the Afia Business Morning. I am Marvelous Apwamaga. Coming up next is Onyafia. Many thanks for watching.
Too slow, that Aba is a bit too rough, Onitsha is a bit too timid. Just things that people say that sort of connotes that there is no opportunity for you to grow and be successful. So today we're going to be dissecting this topic. Yes, the one regarding talent retention in southeastern Nigeria. And why do talents here often think that they have to relocate outside of this region to attain success? To help us dissect this topic today is our guest, Eliezer Aja. He is the MD of the Genesis Foundation, and prior to that, he has had a long history with talent management. We'll be back after the break as we pick up this conversation.
Onyafia, proudly brought to you by Qtix PLC, exclusive quality since 1982.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us for the first time, this is Onyafia on Afia TV, and I am Odera Collins, and with me today is Eliezer Aja. Hi, Eliezer, how are you doing?
Hi, Odera. I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I think the first time I heard about Ezra, I was like, oh, finally, someone that's like me, managing talents, and not just managing talent, managing a lot of talents at the same time, right, for a tech company. Now, let's talk a little bit about your background. How did you come into that space?
Yeah, I've had a very diverse background, particularly because I've tried experimenting different things. I started in digital marketing as a social media manager. and then moved from that to training and and brand actually. Where did I go to first? Brand before training.
I think that for every young person who who is in tech and media in this time, sort of dabbled around digital marketing at some point.
Yeah, but I started as the social media manager for Genesis.
That's usually the name that we start with.
Yes, I was a social media, and it was interesting because I didn't even have Twitter at the time, and that was my first thing.
Wow.
And I just said, and that's been my approach to life. Let me just tweet like it's my account, and I just started being excited and raise the oomph for the account, and we had like lots of followers, lots of engagement, and I was like, maybe this is nice. But then I moved to brand after that, brand and communications.
How? Why did you transition?
I felt I had maxed my ability for social media because when I started handling the page, it was like 400 followers. At the time I was doing it, was 4,000, and it was less than 2 years. And that was my first foray into that. But I got to the point where I felt that maybe I could do more for the organization, and maybe I could do more effectively. Because at the time I was doing brand and communications in addition to social media. And for every pro in social media, you can't combine that with anything.
I feel like social media is a jealous spouse.
I'm telling you, don't share me.
Don't do any other thing.
So I had to now choose one part, and I felt I had done this for a bit. So I moved into brand and communication. And from there, I moved into training. And it was interesting because I was just walking, and my boss at the time said, have you heard about ICDL? It's a certification. The hubris in me obviously came out, and I was like, well, if it's an exam, I'm going to write it and I'm going to pass it. And I was like, oh. And then 2 days later, I was on a flight to Abuja to write the certification.
There's so much confidence. Yeah. Uze, you need to tell me about that.
And then I wrote the exam and I passed it, and I became an ICDL trainer.
Okay.
Yeah. And then,
so for those watching, what is ICDL?
ICDL is International Certificate for Digital Literacy.
Okay.
So it's basically a certification that ensures that everything like computer appreciation, ICT in education, cybersecurity, it's a very large scope that helps you be digitally literate. So TEDFund at the time had a program with universities where they were teaching staff how to be more digitally enabled post-COVID to start using more tech tools to teach because of the new normal that we had gotten into. So I was at the forefront of that. I taught people in UNN, at EBSU. I went to my alma mater, Funai, in Ebonyi, and all my lecturers failed. It was a full circle moment. Like, oh, so you now know that now the tables have turned. I was at OAU, which was the most serious school I taught at the time because they took it very personally and shared results of how they were able to integrate this in what they did. But after I did training for a bit, I had to go and learn the art of teaching afresh. And that's been the most recurring thing in my career. Every time I've moved into a new field, there has to be the reskilling part of it where I had to learn how to do this properly. So I was in Lagos for a month, which also made me realize how much I hated Lagos. That was one part for that. And then I did learning and development as a learning and development specialist, became consulted for a couple of companies, Deal and Oyster at the time, and then became head of talent development and outsourcing at Genesis because we're training people and they were getting jobs outside of our self-influence. And we felt, maybe we can take a more active role in this and provide these opportunities for them because, like Andela's always said, brilliance is distributed evenly, but opportunity sadly isn't. So we decided to create opportunities for these people that were learning via talent outsourcing. And then now I'm just running the foundation as the MD. So that's basically the trajectory of my career. Oh, I did program back in the day, like 2017. But I was like, I don't want to be behind a laptop for longer than I have to.
I think you have like a lot of energy. So, being stuck, you will feel stuck.
I felt stuck. I did feel stuck. So the moment I did my project, which I got an A in, by the way.
Emphasis, like you see how he looked, like had to make sure.
I just read whichever camera, it was an A. I had an A in my project.
Proud much.
Thank you so much. I had an A in my project, but I was like, no more coding for me after that. And then that moved into different areas of life that I have done. So basically, I've touched talents in different areas, but currently I'm touching talents in the nurturing area where you train these people and try to get jobs for them.
So now I have to ask, because it's related to our topic for today is, how did your interest in talent start? Like what happened? What did you see?
What I saw, because the first exposure I had to proper tech was when I did my internship at Genesis in 2017. Okay. I was still in college at the time. And it was such a unique approach to learning that I was very inspired to continue in computer science, because before then, I was thinking, maybe I know how to talk very well, right? Maybe I should drop out from college, drop out from uni,
and do what?
go and do law.
Okay.
EBSO has the best law school. At the time, EBSO had the best law school in Nigeria. So go and do law and use this for something, because we had started writing Java and it was a little bit complicated. And then I came to Genesis and there was a different approach towards learning. And I was like, okay, maybe this is a better option to follow. And then I took that path and started doing more of that. So when I came back, I was like, because after college, after I'd finished uni at the time, I had like 2 offers from Lagos to write code and move, but I also had a counter offer from Genesis in Enugu, and I felt this is what I wanted to do at the point. At the time, I didn't care about talent nurturing as much. It was just
what made you care?
What made me care was when I saw the work that we had done, when a couple of people that had worked there and learned, that came with no knowledge, got jobs in Google, got job at Microsoft, and started contributing to society. And I also taught a couple of people at Omoku. It was Federal College of Education in Omoku, the ICDL in 2019. And they were so moved by my teaching that even though the federal government had paid my company about 30 million at the time for that training, they contributed money and gave me, I think, 6,000. That was a lot of money for me at the time. And some rappers. So I was like, oh, this is nice. So I felt, okay, I do enjoy teaching. And then genetically, my father is a teacher. And I feel some of these things also pass. My elder brother lectures at the University of Delaware as well. My other sister lectures at UNIZIC.
Okay, so you